Hey guys, this is a follow up to a previous video that I've released, which was a Fury Prot pre-raid guide. It wasn't necessarily a pre-raid BIS list, but it was more of a guide and a discussion around what items you should be going for. Because I feel like there's just too much focus on what stats do I need? I need to be at 20% crit. I need to be at 1,000 attack power. I need to be at this. I need to be at that. And I feel like it's confusing for new players, or even players who've been playing a while and decided to roll a warrior as an alt, and they're leveling it up. And there's a lot of pre-raid BIS lists out there. Some of the gear is a lot harder to get than others, and there's also some other pieces that kind of fly under the radar that are, good enough that are just not talked about a lot. So that's kind of the purpose of the video. So this would be my next video, and I guess this is going to end up being kind of a series. So I've got my pre-raid video, my pre-raid discussion. This is kind of my going into BWL, so this would be like the pre-BWL. So this discussion and this guide is going to be without any BWL gear at all. This is kind of what you want to be looking for to get ready to go into BWL. And there's probably excuse me, there's probably folks that are going to say like, well, BWL is not hard. That's true, and it's also not true. Not every guild has the same caliber of players, and not every guild requires world buffs, and not every guild has people that consume all the different consumables, and gear does matter. Is it possible for a raid full of sweaty chads to go in greens in BBWL? Maybe. Probably not, but they could certainly do it in like pre-raid gear. But that's not everybody. So this is more aimed towards helping out, like I said, the folks that are new to Warrior or new to Fury Prot, and they kind of need a little bit more guidance than just a spreadsheet on Fight Club. So this is all gear, like I said, this is all in from Onyxia, 20 mans, and Molten Core. So this is the gear you should be, and this is more of a discussion and like a priority list. So like, these are the pieces that I would aim to get, and the enchants I would aim to get. If I was rolling a new warrior preparing for BWL. So and for those who are not familiar with 60 upgrades, I'm not an expert at it, but I've got this set up and filtered to only show those specific items that don't drop. So it's not going to show me anything that drops in Nax as an example. But it's also going to be geared towards threat. So when I click on something and you see a bunch of stuff above the item I'm looking at, it's because it's rating these as a higher threat piece. That doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It means it's better for threat. So there could be something with 0 stamina on it, like Lionheart Helm. Technically, yes, Lionheart Helm is one of the best threat helms in the game for Fury Prot. You will never see a Fury Prot tank wearing this, or you should never see a Fury Prot tank wearing this. Even in Nax, I don't wear this helm for threat. It's not a good choice. It's just not. Its armor is the armor on it is really crappy. It's level 56, which is why it has no stamina on it. I mean, it's a great helm for DPS, crappy helm for Fury Prot. So, don't just, if you use 60 upgrades, you got to take that into consideration. Don't just look at what's on the top of the list here and then go for it. So I picked Helm of Domination, and this drops from AQ20 from the last boss, Osirian the Unscarred. This is a really good Fury Prot helm because it has all the stats we want. So as a Fury Prot, you're always going to look for raw stats of stamina, strength, agility. Attack power, hit, crit rating, those are all great things to have. But this is what I would consider like a balanced helm. So you don't always want to be in full threat gear as Fury Prot. You don't want to be, like I said, wearing Lionheart Helm and all kinds of other stuff that is just hit and attack power and crit. You need to have stamina and some defensive, some avoidance in there, depending on what boss you're fighting. If the boss hits you, like you don't run into Broodlord wearing, this is a general guide. I probably wouldn't go into Broodlord with this gear setup. I probably would have a few pieces of tier 1 in here to give me a little more stamina and a little more defense. This is more of a, this is for what you would use tanking most of the bosses and then also trash. So Helm of Domination, even though it's down here on the list, this is a very good helm because of that. It has 7 defense and it has 1% parry, good avoidance stats, and then it's got threat stats on it as well. It's a very good helmet. Helm of the Executioner, I had this on my list for pre-raid. Drops from Baron Rivendare. Very good helmet. Doesn't have any agility on it, so there's no crit. But it increases your chance to hit by 2, which is great. But you can make up that hit chance elsewhere and you can pick up the Helm of Domination. So both of these are very good. Crown of Destruction. Excuse me. This helmet, you don't want this helmet. This is a weaker version of Lionheart, and this is from the quest, the Warrior quest. You want Diamond Flask. You don't want this helmet. Crown of Destruction is very good. It's probably the best, one of the best threat helmets. The issue is it doesn't have any agility, so it does have 2% crit, but agility also gives you dodge, and it also gives you armor as a tank, as a warrior. But it's also mail, so it only has 392 armor. So keep that. You can wear mail. It is possible to wear mail pieces and still survive as a tank, but you don't want to wear a ton of mail pieces because the armor you're going to gimp your armor. But it is possible to pick this up and use it. Like you could use this on trash and then swap to Helm of Domination for bosses. Helm of Domination though is very good. Helm of Heroism is also very good, but you can see Helm of Domination is better. And in my opinion, Helm of Domination is easier to get than this. Nixia Tooth Pendant. This is going to be Biss until Naxxramas. Eye of Hakar has no stamina. This is technically better for threat, but Nixia Tooth Pendant has 1 hit, 1 crit, stamina, and agility. So with that agility, it's basically another 0.5% crit. So it's really 1.5% crit. This neck is just Biss. It just is. Get the Onyxia head from Onyxia, turn it in, get this. There's really no point in even, arguing about it. It's the best neck until you get into I mean, there is a decent neck from AQ40, but until you get the Naxxramas, it's I had this until Nax, basically. It's an awesome neck. Shoulders. I left the PvP stuff in here. If you don't PvP, obviously getting the Field Marshal is not going to be super easy, but these are great shoulders if you do PvP. They're amazing shoulders, actually, for Fury Prot. They're right up there with 2.5. Razor Steel, this is from the Warrior Quest. You don't want those. These are PvP. These are basically PvP. League of Arathor Exalted. Bloodsoaked Pauldrons are very good. Those are all great stats, and they have defense on them. Black Dragon Scale, these are male. You could wear these. I would probably keep Spalders of Heroism if you can't get Bloodsoaked, but these are very easy to get. You're going to be doing ZG a lot, or you should be doing ZG a lot. There's a lot of great gear that drops out of there, and you also want the set that comes out of there. So Bloodsoaked are what I would aim to get. Drape of Unyielding Strength is very difficult to get because of the idol. You can also get, I don't want to try to pronounce this, Puissant Cape. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is very good, but it drops off of Azure Ghost. Azure Ghost is pretty contested on my server. And the warriors that go to Azure Ghost are going for this. And rogues. So it's going to be contested. Drape of Unyielding Strength is very good for Fury Prot. Very good stats. It's very good for DPS warriors as well. Another option would be I would not get Earthwave because it doesn't have stamina on it, but Zulian Tiger Hide is another great option. You can pick this up in ZG while you're farming ZG for your other stuff. Cape of the Black Baron, not great. Shroud of Domination, that's off Lord Valthalak, who's a summon boss. I would go for Tiger Hide or Unyielding Strength. Chest Piece, Savage Gladiators is way up there. Breastplate of Heroism, way up there. These are hard to get though. If you're gonna go for them, that they are better than the choice that I made. But This is like a baby 2.5 chest. I had this for a long time. It's a great chest piece. Yeah, Rune Bloodstained Hallmark. This is male. This drops in ZG. You could use this, but again, you don't want to be wearing a ton of male gear. If you're going to PvP, Marshall's chest is good. But like the Zandalar's chest is pretty simple to get. I don't think it requires a ton of reputation either. It's a great piece for Fury Prot. Bracers of Brutality, Osirian the Unscarred. You want to get these. Wrist guards of True Flight. I would probably make an exception to these. These drop in Molten Core off of Majordomo, the chest. This is a piece of mail that I probably would wear if you need the hit. Zandalar's bracers are also very good. But Bracers of Brutality or Bis, I think I wore these until Wrist Guards of Vengeance from Naxxramas. So they don't have a ton of stamina, but they are good. Main hand, I'm saying Kelsorar here because Kelsorar is easy to get. The book is very cheap these days, or at least on my server cluster it is, and you got to kill Onyxia. Very, very simple to get. 12 stamina, gives you defense and armor. It's just good. It's kind of the entry level Fury Prot main hand weapon. It's a little slow. I'd like it if it was a little faster speed than that. But other options, if you PvP, obviously the Grand Marshal's gear is going to be, the best. Excuse me. But there's really not a ton of other options. If you want to go daggers, Perdition's Blade is an amazing option. Corehound Tooth, another amazing option. But there's not really a ton. Warblade of the Hikari. These are hard to get. The drop rate is very low. If you're doing ZG twice a week, it could take you 6 months, possibly more, to still get the set of Warblades. If you have the means, though, like if you're in a guild that's doing ZG and you're either prioed these or you can figure out a way to get priority on these, the ZG Warblades as a set will last you until Naxxramas. They're that good. If you can't get them, the Sickle of Unyielding Strength is one-handed. It's an axe. It's not terrible if you're an off race, if you're a dwarf and you've got edgies or something. The stats on it is actually pretty good, and it has defense. I think it requires Exalted though, so it's not super easy. It's easy to get the item. It's not easy to be able to turn it in. So I mean, there are other options. Broodlord's Defender. This isn't a terrible choice. It's not a great choice, but it's not terrible. I mean, you could get this instead of Kelsorar. Empyrean Demolisher is main hand only. This is going to be hotly contested for Fury Warriors because it's been a long time for Fury Warriors, excuse me. Yeah, I would really just go for Kelsorar. I mean, it's just it's it's not, you don't have to wait on a drop. You do have to kill Onyxia, but it's very simple to do. This was my first epic, I think, in the game. I bought the book like as soon as I hit 60. I think I paid 50 gold for it. I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than that these days. Even if it's not, it's probably worth it because it's probably going to last you for a while. For the offhand, I would try for Brutality Blade, and I'm just putting Crusader on these. You can. It depends on my offhand. I have been doing 15 Agi instead of Crusader. Crusader is technically better. But don't forget that agility is a great stat for Fury Prot tanks because it gives you crit, and it gives you dodge, and it gives you armor. So agility is, and it saves you a buff slot as a tank. Brutality Blade is just super good offhand. Sand Polished Hammer, I would, if that drops, definitely try to, I've only seen Sand Polished Hammer. I mean, I ran AQ 20 until I was exalted. I got exalted with Siderian Circle just from running AQ 20. And I never saw the crossbow. Not once. Which is still infuriating. And I saw Sand Polished Hammer one time. And I had it SR'd and I won the roll, and I passed it to a Fury Warrior because my raid leader promised me that they would prio me Warblades. I had at the time I think I had the main hand Warblade, but not the offhand, or maybe it was vice versa. And I wanted Sand Polished Hammer because when you're DPSing, you want a fast weapon, or excuse me, a slow weapon in your main hand. When you're a warrior tanking as Fury Prot, you want the slow weapon in your offhand. So having a slow weapon is good. You can swap it from main hand to offhand depending on the situation, if you're DPSing or if you're tanking. And I only saw it once. It's a great weapon. I see warriors coming in axe with this. It can last you a long time. Brutality Blade is very close. Brutality Blade is a great Fury Prot offhand weapon, and it's good for main hand when you're DPSing. I've seen human warriors with Deathbringer. If you want to put that in your offhand, I guess you can. It's an axe, so you're going to need the axe skill, but it's your offhand, so you could get that. Viscag, I don't know if I would use that because it really doesn't have any stats on it, but it is an option. Warblade of the Kari, again, Warblades are bis for a long ass time. But that's what I would go for. Kelstar Brutality Blade or Sand Polished Hammer. Flame Guard Gauntlets, I still wear these. I wear these in Nax. Flame Guards are very good Fury Prot gloves. Gauntlets of Might are very good Fury Prot gloves if you need to hit. I still use Gauntlets of Might, I think, in 2 of my sets for tanking. I think I use them in my fire resists, and I also use them in my mitigation set because I don't have... is it my mitigation set? I can't remember. I still have these in my bags. Gauntlets of Might are very good. Very good gloves. Try to get Flame Guards too. Both of these are good. Sacrificial does not have stamina. They are very good, but I would not tank with these. These are DPS gloves. Gauntlets of Heroism are also very good, but these 2 drop in MC. Flame Guards drop off of a ton of bosses in MC, and Gauntlets of Might drop off Lucifron. You're gonna have opportunities to get both. And while I'm going through this list, like, this doesn't mean don't ever pick up tier 1. Like, tier 1 shoulders, Pauldrons of Might, they're not great for Fury Prot, but they're not the worst thing in the world either. And there's bosses where you might want to add some more stamina and defense rating, even if you're going to be dual wielding. So you can still pick up mitigation. This is all based on threat. Like, this is not a mitigation discussion. You do still need to have mitigation pieces of gear. So, go get your Ani helm. Get Helm of Rat. You're going to need this stuff for later bosses anyway. You're gonna need tier 2 when you go into AQ40 and you're fighting twins. So make sure you're picking up those pieces as well. But this discussion is more around Fury Prot tanking and not necessarily the mitigation fights. Zandalar's belt, very good. Onslaught girdle is going to be very contested, but this is bis until Nax. Mentor's girdle is better from Resuvius, but Zandalar's is very good and very easy to get. Osirin's Binding, I wore this for a long time. This is another male piece. The other piece was the Wrist Guards of True Flight from MC, but this is another male piece that I would say is worth it to wear because it has a 20 agility, which is a percent to crit. So basically this is 2% crit, 1% hit, 19 stamina is another way to look at it. It's a really good belt. Brigham Girdle, if you still have that from pre-raid, that's still good, especially if you need the hit rating. Zandalar's is a very good choice though. Leg plates of Karaji Command for the legs. So some people get Titanic leggings. I would not pick these for the same reason I would not pick Lionheart Helm. There's no stamina on them. And the armor is kind of crappy. If you're going to PvP, these are very good legs. Very, very, very good legs. But not everybody's going to PvP, obviously. Leg plates of Karaji Command they're just really good. Blood-soaked leg plates are another good option. Those are in ZG. Leg plates of heroism are not terrible either. All those are good options. But I wore both of these for a while. They're both very good. Boots, slime kickers. If you have boots of heroism, I would say pass on the slime kickers, and here's the reason why. So they both give you one hit. This gives you 20 strength, 20 stamina. This is less stamina, 2 less strength, and it trades that for 12 agi. So you're gaining 0.5% to crit, but you're losing attack power. It's basically a wash. I would, if you already have done the quest and everything and paid the gold and whatnot to get the boots of heroism, me personally, unless there's no one else in the raid who wants the slime kickers, I would just pass them to other classes. And if you're doing a point system, like, or if you're doing GDKP or whatever system you're doing, even if you're doing SR, like let's say you go to a AQ 20 and it's 2 SRs, I would save an SR. I would double SR sand polished hammer, or I would try to get the crossbow, try to get other stuff. Like you need the bracers, you need the crossbow, you need these legs. You need the helm. There's other pieces that you can SR. If you've already got all that and you're still running AQ20 and these drop, then yeah, sure, get them. Don't put these at the top of your list if you already have heroism. If you don't have heroism, then yeah, I would get them. Another option, which is not great for tanking, but it is an option, is these, which are mail. I use these in my DPS set for a long time because you don't really need a ton of stamina for DPS. But these also have hit rating if you need the hit. Boots of heroism, though, are very good. Very good. Boots of heroism are worth upgrading. The rings are going to be tough. Rings are hotly contested items. So, Master Dragon Slayers, I've never really liked this ring, even though it has a ton of attack power. I just don't. I like to have hit rating, and if this instead of a hit rating, it was attack power, stamina, and crit rating, I would use this all day. If I need hit, I'm normally not going to wear this ring. But that being said, it's a ring you can get. It's off of. Oh wait, this is pre-BWL. Master Dragon Slayers comes from BWL, so never mind. Yeah, Lord of Blackrock. That's from turning in Nefarian's head. So we'll just forget I said anything about that. You can get that ring later when you kill Nefarian. Band of Acuria is a huge ring for Fury Prot to help out with your hit rating early on. This gives you a lot of flexibility in your gear choices. If you cannot get Band of Acuria, you need to make up the hit somewhere else. You need to at least be at 6% as a human. Because that puts you at 9% if you're using swords. Don Julio's band this is a very good ring. It requires Exalted. Very good ring, but not everybody PvPs. I've never got this ring. I had Band of Acuria and Quick Strike ring for a long time. I still use Quick Strike ring. I don't use Band of Acuria anymore, but it is a very good ring. Band of Earth and Might is in here from Cenarian Circle Honored. This is okay, but it doesn't have any stamina. Ring of Fury is an okay choice as well. It does have stamina, and it does have hit, and it does have attack power. It's from Mome. So that would be another option. Obviously Blackstone Ring, and then Signet of Unyielding Strength. I used this for a while on a few fights. This is from AQ20. This is not a terrible choice. Doesn't have any hit on it though. So this is really only a choice if you don't need the hit, or if you're making up hit somewhere else. And then you have the Seal and Band of Jinn. These are also okay. You get a crit and you get a hit and you get some stamina and some agility on both. You get 14 agility on one. But this could be hard to get both of them and complete the set, especially when there's Fury Warriors and Rogues that are going to want to get it. So I would shoot. Quick Strike Ring is going to be tough. Quick Strike Ring is BIS forever as Fury Prot. The best, well, not forever. So the best rings in the game, I use QSR, Quick Strike Ring, and the other ring I have is Circlet of Applied Force from BWL. There's very few rings that are better than those. Even if you can't get QSR right away, it needs to be on your list. You need to have it for later. It is Band of Acuria. If you never get it, it's not the end of the world. It is nice to have, especially when you have fights where you're going to put on a lot of mitigation gear and you're going to start losing hit rating. it's nice to make up that. That's a lot of hit to have on one piece of gear. It's the same reason DFT is very good for Fury Prot. Not only does it give you attack power and 1% parry, but DFT also has 2% hit, and it gives you a ton of flexibility on your other pieces of gear. And just because you get these rings doesn't mean like, so if you have Signet of Unyielding Strength, and then you get these 2 rings, don't just throw this in the garbage. I mean, you can always go back and get it, but this still has its uses when you might want to have more crit and attack power. I have at any point, I'm not logged in right now, but at any point in time, I think I have 6 rings in my bags. So I've got mitigation rings, I've got my DPS rings, DPS / Fury Prot, and then I've got some that are kind of in between. So these are, again, this is just kind of a generalized discussion around, some of the things you should be shooting for. But that doesn't mean like wear these in every single situation. There are some, so one example, I can't think of the name of the ring. Oh, here it is. This ring is very good for Fury Prot, Overlord's Crimson Man, but it has defense on it. So you don't have any hit and no crit. You have agility, but this is a very decent Fury Prot ring, especially if you get the other one to go with it, and then it gives you a percent dodge. Those rings are not bad, and if you don't need to hit and you're wearing mitigation gear, they're nice rings to use. I used them for a while. The ring, so you don't get these rings until later. The Black Dragonflight or Bronze Dragonflight rings are very good as well. Yeah, I don't see the other ring. It's probably way down here. I was looking for the other ring for the Zanzel Seal? No. Here it is. So here's the other ring for that set. 11 stamina, block, and dodge. So the block is not a great... So with that set, then you get 2% dodge. Not a bad set of rings to have. Especially if you're going to go into ZG and you're like, I'm going to SR the Warblades, and then the rings drop and nobody wants them, like roll on them and take them. Don't let them get sharded. Just, you can always use anything you think you're going to use, pick it up. But a Kyrian Quick Strike ring, definitely top of the heap for some of these rings. This ring I still use in some gear sets. You're not going to get this until you're Exalted with Brood, which is not going to be before BWL, but this ring is amazing for Fury Prot. Trinkets, Black Hand's Breath. You're going to use this trinket. You're going to get sick of seeing this on your character. Black Hand's Breath is good forever until you get the next. You can get badge and a few other things. Even if you get another active trinket, if you have like Earth Strike and another active trinket, when that's on cooldown, you're going to put Black Hand's Breath on. Like, you're going to use Black Hand's Breath for until you have Kiss of the Spider and Slayer's Crest, or Kiss of the Spider and badge or whatever. You're gonna be using Black Hand's Breath. Hand of Justice. I didn't put Earth Strike in here because you're more than likely not going to be, and Earth Strike is way down the list for some reason, even though it shouldn't be. Did I pass it? There it is, Earth Strike. You got to be Cenarian Circle Exalted. It is possible to be Cenarian Circle Exalted before you get into BWL, but it's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to start BWL. Earth Strike, though, is a very good trinket, because if you use a trinket add-on, like, what's it called? Item Rack. There's Item Rack, and there's other add-ons. I use Item Rack. While this is on cooldown, you can tell the trinket add-on to swap it out and put in Black Hand's Breath. And then so it's cooling down in your bags, and you have Black Hand's Breath on, and then when it comes off cooldown, it gets equipped, and then you can use it again. So you're basically you're giving up a trinket slot only when it's ready to be used. But that's a ton of attack power. I think that's more attack power than Slayer's Crest. I think Slayer's Crest gives you 260 on use, and then it gives you 64 passive. Earth Strike is very good. It's a very tough grind. It sucks, but it's worth doing as Fury Prot. But that's why I didn't put it in here. So Hand of Justice is probably still going to be, you're going to take that into BWL. You'll probably have these two. Crossbow. I never saw this drop once. This drops off of Osirin and Ruins of AQ, which is AQ 20. I see a ton of tanks that are in pre-raid blues and stuff and have this crossbow. And it infuriates me because this is BIS for a long... This, I think, is BIS for Fury Prot on certain bosses until basically through Nax. I would like to still have... I'd like to have this, honestly. I'd like to have this. I don't do AQ 20 anymore, though. I just don't have the time. I'm doing, the other raids. I don't want to run AQ 20 for one item that... And every tank wants it. It's going to be hard to get. Striker's Mark does not have any stamina on it, and this is BIS for rogues for a freaking long time. I would not take Striker's Mark if I were you. You can if you want. You do what you want. It's your subscription. I would not waste an SR on this, or I would not buy this with GDKP or whatever system you're rating under. I would because for Fury Prot, it's just really not. It's not like Satyr's Bow gives you agility and hit. Like this gives you attack power and hit. Obviously, it's better, but it's not like miles better. I would get either Satyr's or one of these bows with agility and hit on them. And there's other options in like Blaster Shot is even better, I think. If you don't need to hit, Blaster Shot, 6 stamina, 1 crit, that's good for Fury Prot. Bow of Tot Sinew from AQ 20. Doesn't really have any stats, doesn't have any stamina, but it has attack power. So you can get strikers if you want. It's it's not super rare for it to drop, but you're gonna probably piss off some rogues or Fury Warriors who might want it. Crossbow is it doesn't look like much, but this is very good ranged weapon. For talents, same as in my other video. Cookie Cutter, 2 out of 3 Heroic Strike for the same reasons. Until you get really good gear, you're going to be using Heroic Strike a lot, and you're going to want Heroic Strikes to be as cheap as possible, so you're saving rage. So this is what you're going to run into BWL with, and then I don't have any buffs selected, so this does not include any of the world buffs, but you're going to roll in there with about 26% crit, 6% hit, 900 attack power, and this is all unbuffed. 5200 armor, 4600 health. This is what I would consider to be a pre-BWL, not BIS. This is not. I'm not saying that this is BIS. There's you can change a few of these around. And again, would I tank Broodlord in this set? Probably not. I'd probably throw on some tier 1 pieces, and just ask the DPS to excuse me, ask the DPS to hold back a little bit. I tank Broodlord. When I tank Broodlord in my Nax gear, I put on 4 pieces of tier 3 to bump my stamina up. You're probably gonna get world buffed. You're gonna want a flask. You need Fury Prot is all about putting out as much threat as possible, but you're trading stamina and mitigation for that. For one, because you're dual wielding. Oh, let's do shield. We didn't do shield. Because you need a shield as Fury Prot. You're going to use a shield as Fury Prot, and you should be using a shield as Fury Prot. So Aegis of the Blood God is what a lot of people love to get. I'm not a big fan of the shield, to be honest with you. It doesn't have any stamina on it. It has block rating, block value, whatever you want to call it, and a block chance. Both of those are pretty piss poor because you're not putting on a shield for a ton of time as Fury Prot. It's usually an oh shit button, and then you're going back to dual wielding, or it's because you have a big threat lead, and then you're going to put on a shield, and you're putting on a shield for the armor and the stamina. You don't necessarily give a crap about and maybe defense rating, maybe. You don't really give a crap about block chance and block value. Now, block chance, it's not to say block chance is completely garbage. Like, it does have a little bit of value. But when you're looking for a shield, I would go with probably Buru's Skull Fragment instead. This is a much better Fury Prot shield. I used this forever until I got the shield from AQ40. Drill Bore Disc is okay. At least it has stamina, but it has block value, and almost all of those green stats are worthless for Fury Prot. But it has 2,500 armor, which is a lot. Buru's is 25, almost 2,600. Immovable object if you PvP. This is okay. 15 stamina, 2,500 armor. Aegis of the Blood God, I'd rather have drill borers or Buru's, to be honest, than this. If you pick it up, you pick it up. It's a shield, it's armor. But Buru's, I think, is the best out of all these choices. I'd say Buru's first, drill borer second. I never did get Aegis of the Blood God. By the time I got Buru's, I was like, okay, I definitely don't want Aegis. I had drill borers, and then I thought I wanted Aegis. And then as I looked at it, I was like, yeah, they're kind of the same, and drill borers is actually a little bit better. So I'm just going to try for Buru's, and then I got it. Shields, you're going to have shields. Nobody wants a shield. The tank is like the only one that wants a shield, or maybe a paladin who wants to use a shield to farm Scarlet Monastery or something. You're not going to have a lot of competition for shields. You don't need to SR them. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your points. If you got points, roll off spec, whatever. You're gonna get shield upgrades without even worrying about it. But it's still worth having a discussion, because you do need to have a shield, and you do need to upgrade your shield. You need to put stamina on it, or if you want to put block chance on it, you can. Again, block is not great. It's probably, I'd rather have block chance than block value, but only because when you're wearing all of your mitigation gear, let's say you're going to go fight twins, or not twins, you're not doing AQ48, you're get pre-raid, you're going into BWL. Let's say you're going to go fight Broodlord, and you're like, yeah, I don't really trust my gear, and my healers are struggling to keep me up. I'm going to wear full tier 1. You're going to have a decent amount of block chance from putting that gear on, and you're going to have the block chance from your shield. So you're going to block outside of shield block. That's really the only usefulness of that block chance, is outside of shield block while it's down. So these stats, so let's compare real quick. That's one of the cool things about this website, I'm going to go to my Fury Prot pre-raid. So go to compare to current set. Okay. Actually, hold on. I think I left buffs on, as why. Fury Prot pre-raid. Yeah, that crit chance is at 30. That's because of the buffs. Take the buffs off, because it should be like 17. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now compare to Fury Prot pre-WL. So compared to the pre-raid setup that I had done, the hit points really didn't go up too much. Only 260. But again, you're wearing Fury Prot gear, and this is more threat-oriented Fury Prot gear. And you can make up hit points with consumables and buffs. Your strength and agility have gone up. Your stamina barely went up. Obviously 26. Your attack power only went up by about 50, but your crit went up a lot. Your crit went up by 8%. Armor went up by 700. Not terrible. Defense went up a little bit. Not really a huge deal. Defense is not a big stat for Fury Prot. Dodge chance went up. So your total avoidance went up. So it did increase. You're seeing a little bit of increases. And what this doesn't show is your DPS. So your main hand and offhand DPS is obviously going to increase your threat. So there's not any stats down here that really reflect your DPS. But we did change our weapons out from blues to the epics. So let's go back to pre-WL. So yeah, this is probably what I would aim for. And again, this is not there's other, like I said, if you have the boots of heroism, that's fine. Wear those instead. you can swap a few things out here and there, but this is just kind of a guide about what I would go for. This is what my priority would be. You know, I wouldn't be so there it reset all my filters, so now it's showing up next stuff. Um, but this is what I would go for. And then I've got another set that I'm going to do a video on that is pre-Nax. So it's you know, after you have BWL and AQ40 on farm, this is the set that I would use to go into Nax. I'll do a separate video on that. But real quick, I just wanted to talk about the 0.5 set. So there's not a lot of pieces in here that are 0.5. We did talk about the Boots of Heroism, but it is possible to take the 0.5 set into AQ40. So meaning the 0.5 set can be another viable option for pre-BWL. So let's look at that real quick. Now I've got same thing, no buffs, same talent spec. Okay, and we'll do a comparison real quick. So it's almost all heroism except for the belt and the bracers. So this is assuming that you are one of those people that just grind that stuff out, you know, grinding out my heroism set. Still at 6% hit. Okay, so it's all heroism. Beads of Ogre Might. If you're gonna do the heroism set, you're gonna have this quest done anyway. So, Beads of Ogre Might are I don't think. Oh, sorry. Let's do no Blackwing Lair. So, yeah, Nixia Tooth Pendant is technically better. So let's swap that. Drape of Unyielding Strength. So Van Braces of the Sadist, I think. I'll do Braces of Brutality. So here I've got Blackguard, but let's change it to the same swords. Let's do Kelsarar, Brute Blade, Crusader, 15 Agility. So Heroism Gauntlets, Brigham Girdle. We had the Zandalars, right? Yeah. Heroism. So we have Curia. Oops. Quick Strike Ring. Black Hand's Breath. And then let's say Hand of Justice. So we're actually at 7% hit. So we could lose hit somewhere, but it's not a humongous deal. So this is basically, you know, you are getting some pieces out of the 20-mans and MC, but you're using 6 out of 8 heroism. Now let's do a comparison real quick to the set we just looked at. Pre-BWL. So they're very similar. So we actually have 1% more crit. Or sorry, we're looking at the, this is the BWL set comparison. So it has 1% less hit, 24 less attack power, but it does have 1% more crit. And it does have more armor, defense, and a little bit more avoidance. So the set we just looked at is the set, like I said, that we're going to go into BWL with. But if you grind out your 0.5 set, you can take that into BWL as well. And it's not a bad set. I mean, it's, you know, the chance on melee, the 8 resistances, not a big deal. 40 attack power, like the set bonuses are really not all that great. But it's still a pretty decent set. It's still, you know, it still holds up. And I have seen Warriors take this set into AQ40 with some off pieces from BWL. Especially Fury Warriors. The 0.5 set is expensive and it's time consuming, but it's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent Fury Prot set and it's a pretty decent Fury set. So don't necessarily discount that either. Okay, so next video I'm going to do, I will be doing, like I said, a pre-Nax one. Obviously, post-Nax is just BIS, just best in slot. So this will just be more of a discussion and a view into, you know, what gear from BWL and AQ40 should you be getting and prioritizing and then taking into Nax, you know, so that you can be a successful tank there. So, all right, well, I'll see you guys in that video, hopefully coming up here soon.